My name is Grace Collins. And the night my billionaire grandfather slammed his hand on the Thanksgiving table and demanded answers was the night I discovered my entire life had been quietly controlled. The room went silent the moment he shouted my name. Forks froze in midair. Glasses stopped clinking. Every face turned toward me as if I had done something terrible, even though I didn't know what he was talking about. My heart pounded so loudly I could barely hear myself think. Grace, he said again, calmer this time but far more dangerous. Explain this. I don't understand, I whispered. Before anyone else could speak, the front door opened and a man in a dark suit walked inside carrying a briefcase. He introduced himself as the family lawyer. And in that moment, I realized Thanksgiving dinner wasn't about food anymore. It was about truth. And before I tell you what he revealed, if you enjoy powerful emotional stories about betrayal, truth, and justice, make sure to subscribe now. Because stories like this remind us that sometimes the people closest to you hide the biggest secrets. The lawyer placed his briefcase on the table and opened it slowly. Inside were documents, thick stacks of paper neatly arranged. He spoke calmly, professionally, like someone used to watching families fall apart. 3 years ago, he said, Mr. Collins purchased a lakeside property valued at nearly $3 million, in Grace Collins' name. My breath caught instantly. That's impossible, I said. I turned toward my parents, waiting for them to laugh, to correct the mistake, to explain everything. They didn't. Instead, they looked terrified. That was the moment I knew something was wrong. The lawyer slid a document toward me. Is this your signature? I stared at the page. It looked like my name, but it wasn't my handwriting. No, I said quietly. I've never signed this. The room tightened with tension. My mother forced a weak smile. Grace forgets things sometimes, she said quickly. I looked straight at her. You taught me how to sign my name, I replied. You know that isn't mine. Silence filled the room like smoke. The lawyer continued. 6 months ago, ownership of this property was transferred to another family member, for $1. $1. The words echoed in my head like thunder. I felt dizzy. Not because of money, because of betrayal. While I struggled to pay rent, someone in my own family had been living in a house meant for me. Then came the second blow. Funds assigned to support Grace were redirected monthly, the lawyer continued, into a private account under a family member's name. My chest tightened. I remembered the nights I skipped meals, the rejection letters, the constant feeling that I wasn't trying hard enough. All of it suddenly made sense. You told me struggling would make me stronger, I said to my parents. No one answered. Because they couldn't. You didn't protect me, I whispered. You controlled me. My grandfather stood slowly. His expression wasn't angry anymore. It was disappointed. The worst kind of disappointment. The kind that comes from broken trust. I trusted you, he said to my parents quietly. And you used that trust to trap her. My mother started crying. My father tried to argue. But the documents didn't lie. Emails surfaced showing false claims about my mental stability, messages sent to banks and employers to make me appear unreliable. Every rejection I faced had been engineered. Not by strangers. By family. That realization hurt more than anything else. Not because of the money, but because of the years I spent believing I was weak. Believing I wasn't good enough. When in reality, I had been sabotaged. The lawyer closed the folder. This will now proceed legally, he said calmly. And just like that, the power shifted. For the first time in my life, I wasn't confused. I wasn't doubting myself. I was standing in the truth. 1 year later, I stood on the balcony of the lakeside house. The same house that had once been hidden from me. The water stretched out calmly beneath the evening sky, quiet and steady. The legal process had been long, painful, but necessary. The property was returned to me. The stolen funds were restored. And more importantly, my confidence was rebuilt piece by piece. Not overnight, but slowly, carefully. I paid off my debts, started a consulting business, helped others understand financial control and legal manipulation, the same traps I had once been caught in. And every time someone thanked me for helping them understand their rights, I remembered that Thanksgiving night. The night everything broke. And everything began. Because the truth didn't just expose my family's lies. It gave me my life back. And for the first time ever, I wasn't surviving anymore. I was finally free,